So for example, I could say, there is a robin in the tree outside my window. When my cat jumps on the decks, the robin flies away. A robin outside, first mention. So my cat jumps and the robin flies away, referring to that particular one, so that there is no monotony in the use of articles. Very importantly as well, when you're talking about specific versus general, you know to use a or an when you're referring to things in a very general sense, and when you're referring to something in a very specific way, you want to use your the. That's for articles. And you're going to see some exercises that will help you test what you've learned so far about articles. But what about quantifiers? We come to understand quantifiers as a class of determiners that provide information about quantity, nothing but quantity. They always come at the beginning of noun phrases. So you say, some thoughts. I have some thoughts. So telling me that the thoughts, trying to quantify it for me, some, many enterprising people, any good ideas. So those are quantifiers, because it's not in all cases that you're able to use a, an, or the. So sometimes you have to use quantifiers. Take note that when you're using quantifiers, there are times you have to use just some kind of quantifiers when you're referring to only two items. So for example, when you say on both occasions, meaning you're referring to two occasions. When you say neither solution worked, or either of the solution will work, it means you, in that context, are referring to two possible solutions. So neither, either are quantifiers. Okay. And when you have this in mind, it helps you to know. There is a chart I'll share up there with you that will help you to understand quantifiers that work with count nouns. For example, many, a few, several, a couple of, none of the, books, as in this case. Then we have quantifiers that work with non-count nouns. So you know the kinds of quantifiers to use when you're dealing with nouns that can't be counted. So for example, you can say, oh, we received a good deal of gravel. Or, oh, there is no gravel. Oh, there is not much gravel. Oh, there's just a little gravel, and so on. And then we look at quantifiers that can work with count and non-count nouns as well. So it's important to know that list of quantifiers so you're able to use the right ones. Finally, we have what we regard as predeterminers, and they always come before other determiners. So we have multipliers. For example, you say double the salary was paid her. Okay, you have fractional expressions, you have intensifiers. All of these expressions are actually there to give you a bit of information about the nouns. They tell you something about it. So for example, we could say, this van holds 3 times the passengers as that sports car. 3 times the passengers. So what does that tell you? It gives you information about number. Someone could say, my wife is making double or twice my salary. So this multiplier comes before the noun. Okay, and so for stuff like that, we just need you to understand how exactly it works. And last but not the least, we have the demonstratives, and they are usually more like pronouns, but then they are determiners because they describe the position as can be seen, especially from the speaker's point of view. So someone can say, whose cars are these? And looking at that demonstrative whose, you come to appreciate that the person is pointing to something. That's why we refer to them as demonstrative. But when you want to use a demonstrative to talk about objects that are far away, you could say, they bought that house. So you're pointing to something far away. So that, in that case, will be a demonstrative, but then functioning as a determiner. So the closeness can be either psychological or physical. Now, why not try out the exercises that follow and see how well you have understood the concept of markers of the noun. And when there are questions, please drop them and I'll attend to them later on. Thank you.